Hello. Hi, good evening, everyone. Hi, Arshad. Hi, Rama. Hello, Ravina. This just start in 2 to 3 minutes. Right? I'm just very much. Just give me 2 to 3 minutes. Let me just start. Okay, I'm on it now. Yeah, hi all. So we can start. Let's start now. Uh, so did you all get a chance to work on the assignments that I shared? Two of the assignments.
Yeah, hi Amit. I did, and I have two doubts in that. Is
Sure,
it
please.
okay?
Yeah, can you share your screen?
Yeah. Okay, are you able to see it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, here in this first one, the question which you asked is print whatever words which will start with yes. Okay, it was working okay, but I tried one more example with the same sentence to print T. No. The letters which have the second, the word which has the second letter as H. Okay. Um, uh, with the sentence which you gave, there is a single letter in that. So after that, if it has to print, it is giving me the error. So
I couldn't get it. Can you come again?
you didn't get it. Yeah, it's see, it printed that and this properly here in input 21 output. Okay.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
If I change that statement, start with yes. Okay. And if I run this query, oh, I think something happened. Look, it was giving me error like this, but
ST, no, your ST is not defined. Do go up, go above. Right. First execute this command, line 17, run this.
Yeah.
Okay. Now come and run this.
Yeah, here at the first two words it is printing, but after that yes, it is throwing me the error. Maybe because that one is not a word and it is not going after that.
No, actually problem is happening is that you have written just a single S over there, right?
Yeah.
And
it will end the iteration after S, right? Because I am asking it to print the second one.
It actually goes up till if I0, right? So you have I1 in that, which is not present, which is creating a problem. Can you just make that word a little big?
Okay, even if if this is the actual situation where I have to print like this, then is there any way in this to do?
So you will have to use the length function also in this case. If the length is more than this, then only it should go inside that too. Because if the length is more, if the length is one, only one character, and we are asking for the third or fourth position, so that is what the problem is happening.
So
you can
along with the split, I have to use the length function to check and then.
So no, this just inside this in the in line number 19, the code that you have written.
Okay.
Line number, yeah, right. So when you say if I0 equal to S, print I. Before this, just print one more condition. If in length is more than if the length of the I before this, before it will come before.
Oh,
before
okay.
Length you will have to check before. Yeah, hit enter. If length of I, normal square brackets, I
yeah,
is greater than what is the number that you are looking out for? Is
greater than like second
one.
2. Okay.
Is greater than 1.
Then it will go into the next loop, right?
Right. So then it will go inside the if condition. Yeah. So you'll have to press a tab for this if condition. Press a tab for this condition. Right. Now if
This print will be here only, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Now it's not giving error.
Oh, yeah. And one more is that, yeah, here in this 38, are we using that X as an variable to print everything, whatever we are performing from this?
So, this actually function. This is actually a part of the function. We actually can create a function in Python. So this just we will do this right now. We have not done this. We will do it.
Yeah, because I did that the way which you explained in the 36th one, but when I saw
it can be,
your
it can be done that way, and you have to do only that way only. This is called as functions in Python, and we will be learning that how do we create this.
so this way we are using to print the output in the form of list.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. That's it.
Amit?
Yeah. No.
For me, I didn't get the questions. It's like HTML code. The the exercise.
Yeah, the classwork where you have shared.
Even to me, it was like that.
If you can open with Google, it is opening. Google Sheet.
Yeah, actually, it's an HTML file. It will open up in your Google Chrome or Internet Explorer anywhere in the web.
It's not open Edge. We'll try it in Google. That's what I put a comment also there that it's HTML codes don't know what to do with this.
Can you share your screen? I'll guide you how to open it up.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
So this is how it's showing for me in the browser.
Click on download this file.
Through Google Docs or no, actually.
You want to get this. Okay, click on view material. View material.
View material, okay.
Because I also not very much.
You can.
Click on this.
It opened me from Google Docs only. I tried almost everything, but nothing opened. Like, yeah.
Okay, now it's opening.
Don't you can't we download this file from here?
It's not showing an option. It's just showing open. This is print and this is details open in new window. Maybe if we do print and then try to save it, there should be an option to download it. When you were uploading it, actually.
Because if in case I'll share any code file and all, so you will actually otherwise you'll have to download it, or maybe there will be some other option. Like,
while uploading it, while exercise, it gives you an option whether you want to have it as a separate copy for each student or it'll be just one copy. Did it show any such option for you when you were uploading these?
I don't remember, so maybe next time checking, I'll check that out.
Yeah, so maybe next time we select for each student a separate copy. Maybe then it lets us download.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No worries. Okay, so we can open it through Google Docs. What is this? Like this.
It's not coming very properly because. So what I'll do is I'll upload them again as a attach. So I'll do it again.
Sure. Thank you.
So let's get started. So let me just share my screen. Open this.
Also, you can select the topic when you're uploading those. Select the topic as Python, so it'll upload those exercises in Python only instead of a separate tab.
Okay. There is a group that is created.
So there are different topics. So Python is one of them. So the material will go directly into Python folder.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, see, like the topic that we're going to do today is that is methods and functions. See, now method is something that we have already seen, right? So, see, up till now, what we did was we saw some of the data structures, we saw how we were working with if condition and loops. Now we have a topic that is called as methods and functions. Now, methods and functions, what are they? Basically, what we do is the methods are the inbuilt the inbuilt functions that we have, right? So what has happened is in Python it is just that the different term has been used for the functions, right? Like for example, the functions like we use append, count, length, insert, pop, append, right? So when we use these kind of functions, they are like inbuilt functions that we have that when you use them, they do a specific kind of a task, correct? So they are basically called as methods in the dictionary of Python over here. And generally, if you will pick any other language over there, then over there we call them as system defined functions. But whereas in Python we call them as methods, right? So methods are the inbuilt objects, or I will say functions, that we have in the Python. So that is called as methods. Now, what happens with the methods is that they take some input from you, they do some operations and give you an output, right? That this is what it happens. This is how the things happen when we use any of the inbuilt functions, right? For example, I create a list. I create a list over here, and in this I am saying in this list I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now, if you create a list, on this list, what you can do is you can try different type of operations, right? For example, if you say lst dot, right, you just press tab, you will see some functions coming up over here, right? When you write dot and the name of the function, you can just write, you can press a tab and you will see these functions coming up. For example, if I say I would like to reverse it, I will get to reverse it. So when you reverse this, now if you will see the list, the output has got reversed, right? This is simple, right? Like this is just a reversing of the list that we have. If you want to append something, you can use append and you say append 5, and if you will now check the output, it will give you that the 5 has been appended inside it. So you just try this reverse function and append, although append we already tried. Okay. Similarly, you have like insert position, right? So if you have lst dot insert, now what you want to do is, suppose in this list, right? This list that we have over here, you want to insert an element, but at a specific position. See, what is happening in the append is, what is happening is the data is getting entered, is getting, inserted always in the last. But if suppose you want to add that number at the index number 2, right? And the number is suppose 20. You want to add 20, you want to insert 20 in this list at the index number 2, right? So now if you will check this, you will notice that 20 has been entered at the index number 2 and all the numbers are shifted onto the right. Okay.
So this will add 20 after the position 2, Amit?
So it not after pushing 2. I mean, 2 is the index number.
Okay, so it's
Like
from
this 0, 1, and 2. So if you see 0, 1, and 2, it comes at the second position number. So whatever the number was there previously, it has pushed that on the right side.
Amit, how do we use count in this?
So count is count is something that we use. So if you come over here, lst dot count. So count is if you want to count a specific number, that how many number of times a particular number is coming. So suppose I want to see how many number of times 5 is coming. So if I write 5, it gives me 5 is coming 2 times.
Okay, it is not exactly like total count of it. Only
That is length function.
okay.
And if you want to see any help on any of the functions, right? So what you can do is you can always say help, right? And in the bracket type that lst dot suppose count only, right? You want to see the help on this function. So what you can do is you just write that function and it will give you the help. That help, this is count over here method of built-in list instance, return the number of occurrence of a value. You can read about it a little bit. I mean, you just say help, so it will give you like what that function is going to do for you.
That help will work for any function which is built in.
Yes. So any function that is built in. So if you say help and you say lst dot reverse, so it will tell you what. Right, so replace. So this is a method helping built-in reverse. So basically, it will reverse that output. So that is how it works.
Okay.
So you can put any function name and it will tell you what that function is going to do. See, now what we're going to do over here is now we are going to talk about something that is very important and something that we will be using a lot. Okay. Just give me 1 second. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we will talk about the functions over here, right? So I told you like there are two things, methods and functions. Methods are also functions only, which are inbuilt functions. Okay, but when I will use the word functions, right? So function is basically the user-defined functions, right? The function that a user creates for his own requirement if there is a kind of a task that he has to do multiple times. So rather than writing that code again and again, he can save that piece of code in a kind of a function. Okay, so basically functions are going to play the main building blocks. Functions are main building blocks of the Python. Okay, they are the main building blocks which we will be learning over here. And like in real-time scenarios also, we create multiple functions and to solve our problems. I will say to solve our problems, so we create lots of we create lots and lots of these functions to solve our problems. So basically, what is a function? A function is a group of code that groups together. It's a set of statements that can be run more than once, right? So function is a group of statements that can be run more than once, right? Like for example, when we were using the inbuilt function when we were using the inbuilt function of count or reverse. So what happened in that case was, see, there is already a program that was written, right? There is already a program that is written. What that code is doing, it is reversing that string. Okay, but I don't have to write that code again and again. I'm just using that word count, and what that word count does for me is it calls that function and it reverses that string. So I don't have to write that complete code. It just gets written. It is just saved in that word format. Okay, now this is the same thing that we are going to learn over here. Now the question that you could ask is, why even use functions, right? I mean, you can copy the code and you can just simply, you can just copy and paste it and you can keep on running it. So that can also be done, right? Why we should use a function? Okay. So now for that, like basically, the reason that we should use this function is because the function will allow us to call the same block of code without having to write it, right? Basically, if you have to use the same code again and again, what you will be doing is you will be again and again copying and pasting it. But what will happen with the function is the function will allow us to call the function multiple times. You will just have to use that word and that Python will get to know that you are calling this function. Okay, let's just give me 1 second. I'll just take that. Okay, right. So now what we will do is let us understand this, like how we are going to create the functions over here, right? So is this part clear, that why do we need functions and what are functions? Right? So to define it again quickly, it's a set of instructions that can be done again and again, and we don't have to copy and paste the thing, so that we save it in the form of a definition. So that is what a function is used for, right? It takes an input and it generates an output. Okay. So now we will see that how do we create a function. So in order to create a function, there's a syntax, right? Syntax of creating a function. Okay. Like for example, for the if we saw a syntax, for looping we saw a syntax, for all the things, there was a syntax that Python follows when you have to use them. So for the syntax of creating a function is, you will say define, right? We say define, then you say the name of you give the name of the function, right? You will give name of the function. Okay. Just okay. So what we do is we create this function over here. Syntax for that is, it starts with the word define, then you give the name of the function, then you will define arguments, right? Like that is the input. Like how many inputs do you allow him to take? So the person will like you when you use the function like count. So in the count you give two functions, right? You give one input. That what do you want to count? So that's an argument, right? What do you want to count? So basically, so you define that how many arguments a person has to give in the input. Then what you do is you write your piece of code. I mean over here a colon, and then you write your piece of code. whatever execution and whatever working has to happen. You do all your stuff, and finally you return the output. Okay, this is a basics, the syntax that we have to follow for creating that function over here, right? So you say define, which is a keyword that you are defining your function, and you give the name of the function, whatever inputs you want to allow him, a person to enter, you do that, and then you write a code that what should happen with that input. Okay, so this is basically, this is how a function is created. Now what I will do is I will show you a first basic function that we will create. I am saying define. The name of the function that I'm giving is hello. This is the name of the function, right? Let's call it as say hello. This is the name of the function. Now I am saying it, this function is not going to take any input from me. I am saying the user will not give any input for this. And if I say what is the code, I am saying print hello. Okay. See, now what is going to happen over here is in this function that I have created, now function is ready. Now wherever I will use say hello, right? Wherever I will say hello, what happens in that case is it is going to print the message hello to me. If I say underscore hello, oh sorry, there was an error over there. It was print. See, wherever I will use this function, it is going to print hello for me. Say hello. Oh, and make sure that whenever you use a function, we have to put round brackets. If you forget that, it gives you an error. So please try this. Okay, done. Perfect. Okay. See, now what we will do is we are going to create a function that takes an user input, right? Because right now, if you see the first function that we created, it was not taking any input from me. It was an empty function, right? It was just printing hello. Now we will say that, in this function, you give some name. I say Amit. So Amit is an input. If I give Amit as an input, it will print hello Amit. If I give the input as Sam, it says hello Sam. So whatever input I give, it prints the name for me. So now let's create that function. So I will say define again, right? We say define, and then one second. Right, so I will say define. The name of the function is suppose greet, and now it is going to take an input. Let me call it that, and you can call it as anything. Right now, this is an input. I'm calling that input as name. Right, you can call X, Y, Z, whatever you want. Now this means one input. Now I will say print hello. Right, I am saying print hello, and then in the curly braces you have to write the name of that argument, right? That is the name. I mean, so if the user gives Amit as an input, so I'm saying hello Amit. So that is where the function is created. So if I use greet and I say Amit, oh, uh,
If it is in curly bracket, it will become a string, right? Like if it is inside the quotes.
sorry.
If it is inside the quote, hello, the curly braces
No, no.
name.
So this is how, this is basically how this is given. This is the syntax of this.
Don't we have to
Oh,
use the colon or
we have to write, yeah. So we have to write F over here. That this is F means that this is what I'm doing over here is I am creating this function which will, in which I want to print something, and in this out this wherever I'm writing this name, that means this is an input that I'm taking from the user. So this is F. We have to write F over here. Okay, so now if you run this, so hello. Okay. Now all of you please create a function that takes two numbers as input and prints the output. Create this. Mm, no, so Radhika, we have to print the that takes, we have to print the sum of those two numbers, right? And prints the sum. See, sorry, I just missed that. Prints the sum of the numbers. Right? So yeah, so you don't need that, right? You don't need to basically write that F, because F is something we use when you have to display that input that you are taking, right? Like for example, now if I create a function, like let me call it as define add num, and it is going to take two inputs, suppose num1, num2. Now I'm saying this is going to take these two inputs. What do I want to print? I want to print num1 plus num2. Okay, now let's use this add num function, and I give the input as 5 and 10. It prints 15.
Instead of print, we can also use return.
We can use return also. So that is what I was going to come. So we can use print, or what we can do is we can use return. So in the same function, if you create it, instead of using print, what we do is we can use return. So this also does the same thing. If I say add num 2030, 2050, it means should be for now.
Hello, Amit. Yeah, this is Marina.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. Like, if you want to pass 3 arguments and then add 2 numbers and store in another variable, can we do this?
So you want to pass 3 arguments, and what is the function? You want to add three of them?
No, I want to add 2 numbers and then store it in another number. I mean, another variable.
No. So you don't need that. If you want to store those two, you can store from here also, right? Like for example, if this is the output that you have got, now if you say that you create a variable by the name of r, and you say r equal to add num, and you put the two numbers 20 and 30.
Underscore.
Oh, so if you see now, this R would have saved that output. So I can use R anywhere, so I can use it this. So I can store it.
Okay.
Within the function only, I won't be able to get the variable to store. So we just create a variable outside it, and in that we assign it.
Okay,
Even
because
while creating, we can do it, right? While creating also, we can do R equal to define add num. No?
No. While you cannot say R equal to diff, you are saying while creation of the function.
Yeah.
R equal, no. So that define is for creating the function. First, you are creating the function, that what that function is going to do. So that way there you cannot use that. Like you are saying this part, you cannot do that over here.
Okay.
Once the function is created, when it's totally functional, as in you are giving input, it is giving you output, that output you can save into a variable, and that is how you will do it.
Yeah, because in another coding language, I have seen that we can pass 3 arguments like x, y, and z, and then define a formula like z is equal to x plus y, and then return the result. So we cannot do that here.
So in that case, what you do is, like for example, you are saying like this. Let me just. Okay. So what we are saying over here is x equal to this. Right, so this is what we are saying. So you defined x in which you have saved the output. So now if you use add num, so this is what you can do. So you don't need to define it. See, because when you define something over here, okay, if I define num3 over here, now that means this is an input. A user has to give an input for this. So these are the input arguments. But if you want to store the variable inside it, you can define it over there only, and then you can return that. But if you define x over here, now the function will expect that I give input for x also, right? Like for example, now if I run this function, see, it is expecting the third argument. One argument is required, argument for x, because I've given number 1, number 2, but not the x. So this is why it gives me an n.
Okay, thank you.
One question here, Amit. So in some functions, is it possible to use x later outside the function?
X to be used in?
So some,
No,
yeah.
So this function, this x will has the limitation only up till inside this function. It cannot be used outside this.
Because
This
we can create some functions, right? The variable we make inside the function, we can use it outside the function. Are there any such
no,
functions?
no, you cannot do that. So
Okay.
basically, this is what is called as a scope of a variable. Now,
Yeah.
when you define a variable outside, you can use it anywhere. If I say x equal to 30, I could have used that inside this also. But when I define a variable inside a function, I cannot use it outside it. Its life is only up till inside this function, not beyond this.
Okay.
Okay. So now create a function to check if the number is even. Okay. Create a function that gives the remainder when divided by 2. Create a function that takes two input, a number and divisor, and prints the remainder. With these three functions you have to try, right? How will you create them? Okay, so please work on it. I'll just be back in 1 to 2 minutes, right? Just in the meantime you try this.
Amit, we need to create 3 different functions or in one?
Sorry?
We need to create 3 functions or in
You're
one?
using 3 functions, yeah.
Okay.
Hey Amit, I didn't understand your third question actually. Is anyone else understanding the question? Amit, you there?
Radhika, I think one is dividend and one is divisor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry, didn't get that. I forgot.
We have two numbers, right? One should be one the number which what we need to divide and with what number.
Yeah, you have to pass both the numbers.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. And then why is it saying two numbers and divisor? So
No, two numbers, that is number and divisor.
Acha, ठीक है. Thanks.
Welcome.
Yeah. Are you able to do it? What I see here. So don't you think we'll have to use some if function inside this? Like if that number is divisible by 0, then it should print even, otherwise it should return as
F
an
function.
number is. Huh?
Given F function in that.
Sorry.
There is a function in my answer.
Yours, yeah. So if num, that's right. And then we have the next question, that was create a function that gives the remainder when divided by 0, right? So that is simple. That is mod. You have to use mod divided by 2. So whatever the output comes up, it has to throw that. Okay. And then we have to print. Yeah. So this is right. So are the three functions, are they working for all of you? I hope you all have tried it. Perfect. Okay. So let's do some more questions on this. Okay, let me give you some more questions. Anyone, any question before I move ahead? I think if anyone you want to ask something. Okay. Let me just give you some more interesting question on this. Just give me a moment. Yeah. Alia. Okay. See now, the question that we'll do over here is Okay, so what we'll do now is, so suppose, what we do is, suppose we want to pass a list, right? So what we will do over here is, suppose I want to do is, uh, okay, suppose, I give any list. Suppose I have a list, and this is a list. This is a list that I'm giving as an input. Now, what I want to do is, I want to basically print all the numbers that are even in this list. So I have to create a function for that. So how do you think we can do it? So this is a list that I'm giving it. So what should happen is that my function, I have to create a function that should check each and every number, and which the numbers which are even, it should print them in the output.
Should we use loop?
Huh?
No, should we use loop?
Sorry, the question?
No. I'm just asking you whether we should use the loop.
So loop we'll have to use. So
Okay.
loop you have to use because you have to pick each number one by one. Check it. If it gives the remainder as 0, then it should come in the output, otherwise not.
Okay.
Okay, in this, we'll have to, let me do this thing with you. So because, in this, I will just like to explain you two things also in this. So first of all, let's see how we will create this function. So I say define, and let's call this as check even list. I'm giving it a little elaborative name that, this is a function. What this is going to do is, it is going to check the numbers that are even in the list. Okay, so we will give some input in this. That input is, I'm calling that as num list or number or whatever, right? Num lst. So this is the user defined input that a person is going to give for running this function. Now, because list can be multiple numbers, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have to check each number one by one, right? I have to check each number. So for that, what I will have to do is, I will have to write a loop. So I will say for I in num list, right? The variable that the list that a person has given. So I'm saying for every number in num list, it is going to pick each number one by one. Then what I will do is, what will be the next step? It picks the first number. Then what is the step that I need to do? I need to check. I'm checking if, right? If that I divided by 2 is equal to 0. If it gives me a remainder as 0, then what do I want to do is, I will return. What will I return?
I.
Number. So I will return I. Okay. Else, if this function failed, if the number was not even, I will say pass. See, we write pass. Now, what is the meaning of pass over here? Pass simply means that I am instructing that the code should move back and it should rerun. Okay, I'm saying the code should move back and it should re-execute. I mean, it should come back to the for loop and it should check for the next number. So this is what we do over here. Okay. So shall we try this? So I hope the logic is clear how we have written it.
Hi, Amit. We are using pass because the for loop is defined under that user defined function.
Sorry, this
The pass. Are we using that because the for loop is inside the function?
No, pass can be used outside the function also, right? If suppose you are writing a normal for loop, if you're writing this, you can use pass over there as well. So basically what happened is, we have let me tell you in that case. So let me just give you,
Because previously I think we used break or break, I think,
pass.
right?
So basically we have two things. One is called as break and one is called as pass. See, break means if you use break, what will happen in that case is the code will stop there, right? The code will stop. I am saying suppose I have a word Canada. I have a word Canada. I want to say that the moment in this word A comes, the code should stop. So the moment A comes, the code will stop. But in the past, what I'm doing is I'm saying it is checking for the number. So the number 1 comes in. Now if condition fails, now I'm saying if I is less than divided by 2 equal to 0, it's not, condition fails, it will go to the else part. In the else I've written pass. Pass means it will come back to 4. That means we don't have to do anything. Let the code continue. This is what I'm doing. Got it?
Okay, yeah.
So it's just saying re-execute the code. So now if I create this, now let me use this function. So I'm saying check even list, and suppose I pass a list inside this function as this only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so what happened? See, can you identify the mistake that we have done?
Yeah, so we are not adding that number. So do we want to print all the even numbers in an array?
So we have to print all the even numbers.
So we are not adding them to another variable. So maybe we can have x and then keep adding those even numbers to
Correct.
x and x.
Right. So what we are doing is we are not adding that. We are not saving those numbers technically, so that all those numbers should be printed out together in one go. This is something that we are not doing over here. So what we need to do over here is over here in this function, I'll just create a small function. Let's call it as x, and I'll create it as an empty list over here. Now what happens is if the condition comes out to be true, if the number divided by 0, what happens over here is, because I have said return I. So the moment I say return I, so what now happens over here is return means the function stops. It throws an output. Correct? If you see over here, what is the meaning of return? Return means it gives an output. Okay. So the moment it finds the first number, I say return. So it gives me an output that 2 is an even number, right? So it has returned that number to me, and my function has done his job, because what is the job of a function? It takes an input, it returns an output, and output has been returned. So this is where we made a mistake, right? This is where we made a mistake. So now I will be saying that I am creating a variable x. Now once the number is divisible by 0, right? When the number is divisible by 0 and the function is true, what I am going to do now is I am going to say that this x that I have created, x dot append. So the number that I will get, I will just append it in that list. Making sense? Right?
Hi,
If suppose
Victor. Instead of
Uh-huh.
return, if I use the print, it is printing, but not like in a one line, but it is giving vertically.
Can you come again?
Instead of return, I used print.
See, if you use print over here, so
Then
like
it is
if you
printing
use,
like one by one.
so all the numbers will come one. So the loop will keep on running, and it
Yes.
will keep printing that up, right? So if I see over here, so the function that you have written is that function is this. Let me just copy this.
Yeah, without using a new variable, I just used a print.
So you are saying this part over here.
Yeah.
Instead of this, you are using print type.
Oh, that.
Right?
Yeah.
2 and 4. So what is happening in this case is it is running like a loop. It is the numbers are going one by one. And see, there is a difference between a return and print. print is something that generates an output on the screen, but return is something that it's like, you know, it's storing the value. It is
It is
like throwing an
passing it
out.
to some other variable.
So you can it's storing it, so you can store it in another variable. It's storing in another variable. So it's like throwing that output on that screen. That is why when I'm using return, it is creating a problem. So in order to overcome that thing, what I've done is I created an empty list. This is an empty list. It doesn't have anything inside it, right? So what I'm doing over here is I am saying if the number divided by 2, it gives me the value or the output as 0. So that means I would like to append that number inside my list. Suppose that number comes out to be 2, so 2 comes over here. Then the next number is 4, it comes 4 over here. Then what I will do over here is once this complete code is done, then what I do is in the last over here, what I will do now is I am going to simply return, right? What I will do now over here is I am going to return my this X over here, the list that I have created, I am going to return that. See, now if I will run this, so it gives me output in the form of a list only 2 and 4. Okay. Is this clear or any confusion, anyone? Okay, Radhika,
One
Rama,
doubt. One doubt.
Marina.
How can we use return after if before else?
Sorry.
Why can't we use return X before else?
Why can't we use it?
Yeah, because I tried to use it, it's not working. But what is the
See, if
logic?
you will use, see, if you use it over here, right? Like, are you saying it over here or are you saying it over here?
Over next to if command.
I mean,
Like
like
in a
over
line.
here.
Yeah.
See, if you, it's a part of a if right now. So what will happen in this case is the moment, see, the code works like line by line. So you give an input, it will go inside the loop. Loop will pick the first number and it will check is that number divisible by 0. If the number is divisible by 0, it is going to execute this line. It will append that number. And if you have the return over there, it is going to just give the first number only in the output. It will not append all the numbers, right? Because in this list, I have two positive numbers, two even numbers, this and this, right? The list has two even numbers.
Right. That's what is happening. Yeah.
So it will only give you one because your return comes in the middle only. So that is why this function that we were writing, right? The function that we have written. So what we had done over there was once all the numbers are stored, then what we are doing over here is in the last we are writing over here that return the value of X.
Okay.
Making sense? So we are checking the numbers. So I check the first number. If it was even, it gets added in this list. Then we get the second number that gets added in the list. Once all the numbers are checked and all the even numbers are stored in this empty list, then in the last, what I am doing over here is I am printing that in the output.
The whole array. Okay.
Okay. So now let's do one thing. Shall I move ahead or still anyone has any doubt? Okay. See, now what we will do is we will try to do something a little uh, more advanced on this. Suppose, you know, I give this dictionary. Okay, I have a dictionary. Suppose I am saying work hours. This is the variable, and what I'm doing over here is maybe let's do one thing. Let's use this only list only. In the list, I'm giving tuples, right? Like suppose This is Sam and he worked for 100 hours. This is Harry. He worked for 250, suppose he worked for 105 hours. And we have, suppose, Susan. And the Susan worked for, suppose, 90 hours. Okay, now this is a list that I have. So inside this list, what are these? What do we call these? Anyone? What is this?
Keys and values.
Huh?
Keys and values.
No. Dictionary comes in curly brackets, right? So this is not a dictionary. If you remember, we did three parts, three things. One was this, right? One was dictionary and tuples, right? Tuples are something that we define in the round bracket. 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember this? Tuple?
Yes.
Yeah, tuples we can mix the data types to pass in the list, right?
But they are immutable. I cannot add more data inside a tuple. Right? So now what I want to do is, can you create a function that gives me the name of the top performance and the number of hours that person worked? Like I want to generate the output that is Harry and 105. That means he has worked for 105 hours. So can you create a function for this? Okay, so before if you try this out, I will just like to help you with a small code, right? So that you can then think of how will you write on this. Suppose I give you a small example. So I have stock prices. Okay, in the stock prices, I am saying that Apple, the stock price is 100. Okay, and we have Google, the stock price is suppose 120, comma, and I have suppose Microsoft, and the stock price is say suppose 130. Okay, suppose this is a list that I have. What did I miss? Comma. Okay, this is a list, and inside list I have three tuples: 1, 2, and 3. So I'm giving you a hint. Suppose if I write this code for I in stock prices, okay, if I will say print I, what do I get? Practice again. I always miss practice. Print I, it picks the first item, Apple 100, second and third, right? It prints that. It prints Apple and 100, Google and 120. It is because first time it takes this as an input, second time it takes this as an input, and third time it takes this as an input. So I get these three numbers in the output over here.
right? Now, if I write something like this, I say because inside this I had a tuple, right? Because inside the list, I know that I had a tuple and each tuple is having two values. So what I can do now is, if I say for stock comma price in stock underscore prices, and now I say I only want to print the price, right? So now what is going to happen is, because I am saying that I am defining two iterators, stock and price, right? So because it is a tuple, so what it is going to do is, what now going to happen is, stock will pick this value, price will pick this value for the first time. This is how the tuples are actually handled in Python. So what will now happen over here is, it is going to return only the pricing, right? Because first time it picks apple and 100, but out of that I only want to print the second item, that is 100, so it gives me 100. Then the next iteration it picks Google and 120, and I only want to pick price, so it gives 120. So if I now write the same thing for x comma y in stock underscore prices, right? Now if I say print x only, I want to print x. X means it will print Apple, Google, and Microsoft, right? So this is how basically tuples are. Basically, this is how the tuples behave or are used inside a loop. Getting the idea? Yes, yes, class. Are we solid on this? The thing that I've explained you. Okay, yeah. So now this logic you will have to use for this question that I have asked you over here. Where are the block? Yes. So please try this out. Shall we try this together? This right. So let's try this function together now. Let's create a function over here. Let's call it define, and let's call it as, top performer. I'm calling this function as top performer, and a person is going to give some inputs. Say suppose work hours. A person is going to give an input over here, that is work hours. Now, first of all, what we will have to do is, we actually have to give the name of that person who worked for the highest number of hours, and we have to give the number of hours he worked, right? So what I will do is, I will set up the initial, I will create the variables to hold the, right, to hold the, the initial values, right? Get the variable to hold the initial values. What do I mean by that is, suppose I am saying I create a variable by the name of maximum. Now, right now, the maximum will be 0. We don't know what is the maximum hours a person has worked, and we don't know performer. We don't know the name of the performer who was the person who has performed the best. We don't know his name, so I'm setting that as blank. Right? I'm just setting up the initial value that the person who has the maximum hours worked, it is 0, and the name of that person we don't know, that is blank. Now what I do over here is I will say for employee and hours, because we will have the employee and hours in this, right? The whatever the list that you're going to give is in an import, I'm going to give that. So now the loop will work over here. Right now the loop is going to run from here. Now inside this, I'm going to say that if, right, if the hours, if, what is the condition? I'm saying if hours are greater than maximum, right? If the hours are greater than maximum, what will be hours? Yes, Marina
second-
Raman, what?
The
Right, it will
second,
be, it will be
Second
the
value.
first value, right? The
Yeah, the
first
first.
hours, whatever the hours the person would have given.
Mm.
Let me just copy that over here only so that we can easily see that out. Let me just copy this over here. So it's easier for us to relate, right? So now if you see over here, the first time the hours will be 100. Now I'm saying if this 100 is bigger than 0, right? If this 100 is bigger than 0, right? Then what should happen is, over here is, if the condition is true, what I want is that the value of maximum should become equal to hours, correct? That should become maximum than hours. And what should be the name of the performer? The name of that performer will become, it will be equal to employee. Getting it what I've written over here? Or anyone, any doubt on this?
I have a doubt on maximum equal to hours.
Huh?
No, I have a doubt in maximum when maximum gets equal to hours. The function.
This line, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. See, what I'm doing is I have set it up 2 variables. So while I'm starting this function, I'm saying I have one variable maximum, and I have assigned the value of maximum as 0. I'm saying the maximum hours a person has worked is 0.
Okay.
I say performer, that is blank. I don't know the name of the performer. So I'm creating 2 variables where maximum equal to 0 and performer equal to empty.
Okay.
Okay, this is clear?
Yeah, that's clear.
Right. So now what I do is I come inside my loop. Now I am saying for employee and hours in work hours.
Yeah.
Now
I'm
this
clear
is
with
the input that I will be giving,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
this becomes employee and this becomes hours.
Yes.
Correct?
Yeah, I got it. That.
Now if I check the condition, I mean, you're clear or should I?
No. So far, I'm good. I have only doubts with if part. Yeah.
So now what I'm doing is I'm checking the first condition. So I'm saying if, see, when the loop will run for the first time, it will pick this tuple. It is going to pick this tuple for
Yes.
the first time,
Yes.
right? Now this will be employee and this will be hour, correct?
Okay.
Now, because I've said for employee and hours in work hours. So this becomes employee, this becomes hours. Now I check the condition. If this number, right? If this number is greater than maximum, if this number is greater than maximum, that means if
Okay.
100 is greater than 0, that
Okay.
means I have a bigger number than 0 in my data.
Yes.
So now I am saying let's update the value of this with the maximum data, that is 100. So that is why I am saying that value of maximum should be equal to hours. That was 100. So maximum will become 100.
Okay.
And the performer will become the name of that employee,
Name
that
of
is
that.
Sam.
Okay.
Okay, that becomes employee. Now this is the first condition that happens. Now if the condition gets false, right? If the condition gets false, I will have a else. In the else, I'm simply writing pass. Okay, I'm saying simply pass. Now what will happen is when I say pass, Now because it's a loop, it will come back over here. Now it will become the second value. Now when it picks the second tuple, now what is the value of hours? Hours is 105. Now 105 is greater than maximum. Now maximum value was updated to 100. So now it will check, is the 105 more than 100? Yes, it is. So now the value of maximum will become 105 and the performer will become Harry. Correct? Now when the third condition comes, in the third condition, the value of hours is 90. Now the condition will fail.
Okay.
Now this time the condition will fail because hours was 105, the condition got hours was 90, which is less than 105. The condition fails. It comes over here to the else part. Now the loop is complete. Now what was the value that was last saved in the maximum? That was 105. Performer was Harry. So now I will simply come over here and I will say return. What do I want to return? I want to return performer max.
Okay.
Okay, now this is created. Yes.
Okay. Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. And now what I'll do is let's use this function to see if it is working fine or not. Performer, and inside this, I'm going to give this as my input. Carry 105. I get the correct output. Okay. Now what I'll do over here is I'll just share one exercise on the functions. We have some function. You can try on that.
But you'll also be uploading those two exercises again in Python.
I'll upload them also again as an attachment.
Okay.
I'll upload that.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, so let's connect tomorrow and there. Thank you all.